Good evening, everyone. I can see only one Rishi is there, right? So, good evening, Rishi. What about others? No one in the chat. Good evening, Naveen. Yeah. So, guys, let's discuss the agenda of today's session, right? So, yesterday we have seen what is state, okay, how we can use state. So, guys, after that we created a form, right? And today, like our task is what we have to submit the form, and whatever data we are getting from the form, I have to hold that data inside the object and I have to console.log that data. Okay. So we have three tasks today. That is first task is that is a submission of form. We will see how we can submit the form. The second task we will see is about two-way binding. Okay. And the third task we will see how we can pass the data from child component to parent component. Okay. This is our today task. And if we have time left, then we will move further. Okay. So great. I'm seeing Atul, Utpal. Yeah. So good evening all. So guys, I have one question for you. Tell me. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Right. Present your screen here. Entire share screen here. Right. Yeah. So guys, why we use state? Anyone? Why we use state? Please write in the chat. And in which scenario we can use state? No one? To maintain the data, to maintain data while render, right? So here, till the yesterday session, my screen is visible, right, everyone? Yeah, my screen is visible here. So we have discussed what? We have discussed about state, and we are saying कि hey, when when I have to perform a change on the data, okay, change on the data, and that change should reflect on the UI, okay, should reflect on the UI. Then I can use state. I can use state hook, okay, which you I can use state hook here. So what use state hook does, it with the help of use state, what we can do, we can change the data. Okay, when we are doing the change in the data, it will render the component, it will re-evaluate the component. Okay, so when the re-evaluation will take place, it will re-evaluate whatever code you have written inside the function, and it will render, it will re-evaluate the JSX part also, right? Yeah. So whatever changes you have done, that changes will be visible on the UI part. So this we can do with the help of use state. Okay. And there is one more thing. This state management, this state management is taken care by the React. Okay. It is taken care by the React. So guys, if you will see, let me share my code here, right? 1 minute. Yeah. Related to the attendance, related to the assignment, I will answer in the end. Okay. Yeah. So here, so guys, my next question here is, can you tell me here in app.js, not in app.js, in index.js, right? In index.js, we are having two things. That is, we are using import React and we are using import React DOM. Can you guys write in the comment why we use React DOM and what is the use of React? Anyone here? Why we are importing React and why we are importing React DOM? Please write in the chat. So, anyone? To create a virtual DOM. Utpal, which part will create the virtual DOM? Either React or React DOM. So, guys, here we have two things. Okay, we have a React. Let's assume this is the React, and we have React DOM. Okay, we have React DOM. So basically you are saying hey, why you are using React? Because you are using React because it gives us the power of component. We can use a lot of component, we can combine those component, and we can render a UI on the output screen. So with the help of component we can reuse the code, and we can maintain a modularity, right? We can maintain a modularity in the code. That is, one component is performing a specific task. Okay, all the individual component is performing the specific task. So here React is a guy, and React is saying ki, hey, management of the component whatever management I have to do for the component, I will take care of that part. Management of the component will be taken care by the React. Okay, that is state. Okay, when the state is changing, the component re-render. This part will be taken care by the, okay, when the component re-render, what happens, guys? This part will be taken care by the React. Okay, when you are passing props, okay, props from parent component to child component, that part will be taken care by the React. Similarly, here state is stored inside a memory. State is the value of state is stored inside a memory. Okay, and this thing is also taken care by the React. So there are a lot of things that React take care of. The main agenda of React is what? It will manage, it will handle the component part. Okay, and the next thing is what? The next thing is React DOM. React DOM will say ki, hey, whatever you want to show on the UI, the DOM tree, that is document object model tree, right, that we have discussed in the first session. This DOM part, whatever you want to show on the UI thing, that will be taken care by the React DOM, right, everyone? We will in the tomorrow session we will come with the topic of virtual DOM. What is virtual DOM? Okay, so till that time, here if you will see this part, we have React DOM, right, everyone? We have React DOM here, that is doing what? Here, with the help of React DOM, we are getting an object, and on this object, we are rendering the app component, right, everyone? We are rendering the app component here. So so this is about the React and React DOM part. If possible, can you cover React Router DOM also in the session? Utpal, I will try. Like if we have time left, I will try to cover that part also. Okay, but let's first complete this project part. Okay. Till this point, everyone is clear, guys. What is React DOM and what is this React? What is the use case of React and React DOM? Please write in the chat if it is clear. Okay. Yeah. So after that, till yesterday, we have completed till this part, right? And about the CSS file, you can go to the description of the today session, and from there I have shared the zip file. Okay, you can download the zip file, and what you have to do, use any ID. You can use Visual Studio Code. Open that folder. From there, run npm install. The moment you will run npm install, it will download all the dependencies for you, and after that you can use npm start command to run the code on the browser. Okay, everyone. So from the description, I think you will get the link, right? Let me see that link also, whether it is here or not, right? So here, yeah, we have this link, right? React.js resource file. Okay, from here you can download the file, right? So here, right? So guys, till yesterday point, we have created this part, right? That is the expense, this expense item part, and we have enclosed this expense item inside a card, right? And here we have created a form also, right? Here we have created a form also, this form here. Okay, so now what I have to do, I have to apply some CSS on the form. So here, okay, here if I will go inside the expense new expenses.js. So here in the new expenses.js, what I am doing, I am calling the expense form component. Okay, I'm using the expense form component. So I have already written the CSS file. Okay, what you have to do, you have to import the new expense.css file and include this new expense CSS with the help of class name here, right? And the moment you will save this thing, you will see this output, right? So here you can see we are having the title, amount and date, and this button here, and we have applied some CSS here. Okay, about the CSS, you can go to the link, and from there you can understand the CSS part, right? So you don't provide the link of the three files for product. Like good. So Shivam, the product.js, app.js, and style.js CSS, right? Like I have given that part in the question itself. Okay, in the question, if you will scroll down, you will get uh, the code for the app.js, product.js, and style.css. Okay, please refer that thing, and if it is not there, I will check that part and update that thing. Okay, yeah. So till this point, everyone is clear, right? So let's move here. So now we are inside the expense form, and inside the expense form, what we have done yesterday, we have created input to take input of the title part. We have created input, right, to take the input of the amount, and we have created input and label to take the input for the date part, right? Everyone, till this point we have done, and after that we are saying ki, hey, whatever thing you will type on the input field here, right? Whatever you will type here, this is what, this is a event. Okay, this is a event. So in order to handle this event, we are having a prop, that is on change prop, right? On change prop. So here I'm using on change prop, and whenever you press on the keyboard, okay, whatever you press on the keyboard in the input field, this title change handler function will get called. Okay, inside the title change handler we are printing something, that is enter here, right? And that we have seen yesterday, right? And what happens when you are entering something, when you are typing something on the input field, what will happen, this function will get called, and what happens here, we get an event. Okay, we get an event from the behind the scene, we get this event. Let's try to print this event part. Okay, let's see what this event is. Event is an object, so we will get this event here, right? So let's try to print what event we are getting here. So let's open the console part right here. So here in the console, yeah, let's clear the screen. So here, right? So let's try to see here. We are getting something, right? We are getting an object here, right? And why I'm getting an empty object? Okay. Event. Let's see here, right? So sorry, I have written event here. Okay, I have to write event in the title change handler function, right? This. Okay, my mistake here. Let's save the code, right? Let's see now. So the moment if I will write something here, you can see we are getting an event, and this is an object, and inside this object we are having some key, right? We are having some key value, and if you will open this, okay, inside the event we are having a target. If you will see this target, and inside the target we have the value here, right? And whatever value you will write inside this text field, that will get stored inside the value part, right? So what I will do, I will try to access this value here. So here what I will do here, I will write event dot target dot value, right? Let's see what output now I will get. Let's save the code. Let's see now, right? So here, so here you can see if I will type something, that is a, here you can see I'm getting a, right? B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Anything if I will type, that will get stored inside event dot target dot value, and this we are getting on event, and that event is what, when we are typing on the input field, and when we are typing on the input field, this props and the function title change handler will get called, and this title change handler will give emit an event, and we are taking that event, and from the event we have the key target, and from that key target we are having the value that is storing the data that is written inside the text field, right everyone? So here we are getting the data, but what we want, our aim is what, we want to collect the data on form submission, and we want to print the data on the output screen, right everyone? So guys, please tell me, please write in the chat, should I use prop or should I use state here in order to save the data of the title field, of the amount field, and of the date field? Okay, please write in the chat. Let's see. If you understand till this point, please write in the chat. What I want, my task is to collect the data, okay, when the form is submitted, and I want to print the data on the console. So where I should store the data? Inside the normal variable or inside the state? Okay. So Utpal is saying inside the state. Why you are saying inside the state, guys? Why you are saying inside the state? Francisco, like where did I use the state? Use state. Okay, we have used this use state in the previous section, previous lecture. If you have attended that lecture, it is good. If you have not attended this lecture, we will implement that part. Okay, because props are read only. And Utpal, what about the normal variable? Why, like, can I store the form data that is the object in the normal variable? And dynamic data state safe. Okay, yeah. Naveen, like, I'm getting the correct answer from the Naveen. That is, data will be safe, okay, in memory. Yeah, because the text changes and we have to re-render. Yeah, Tony is also correct here. So yeah, Utpal, yeah, and state and which are correct. So most of you are correct here. You are saying ki, hey, what happens the moment you will enter any text in the input field? What will happen, guys? You are performing an event, right? And what can happen? The whole component can re-render, right? And if you are storing the data inside a normal variable, that after each execution, new normal variable will get created and it will store the new data. So what will happen? The previous data will get lost. Okay, we are not saving the previous data. So what I will do? I will create a use state, and in order to use a use state, what I will do? I will first import the use state. That is, I will do named import use state here. So we have discussed the name import. If I have to do the name import, I have to use the curly bracket. Inside the curly bracket, I have to write the name. So here use state is the name here. So after that, what I can do? Yeah. So after that, I will create a state here, that is const, and we have entered title, and we have set entered title here, right? Title here, and I will use a use state. And for the first time, there will be no data inside the text field. So what initial value I'm giving? I'm giving a empty string. Okay, I'm giving an empty string here. So initially, entered title will contain a empty string, right? And what I will do here, inside the title change handler function, I will update the entitled. I will update the entered title state, right? That is entered. 1 minute. Entered title. Sorry, like this, right? Set entered title. And here what I will do, I will write event dot target dot value, right everyone? Like this. And guys, can you write in the chat why I can't write like this? Okay, here I am updating the state with the help of a function, right? I am updating the entered title value with the help of set entered title function. Why I'm not writing like this? That is, entered title is equal to event dot target dot value. Why I'm not writing like this? Please change the, like, please write in the chat. We can do this part also, right? Line number 8 also. But why we are doing line number 9? Why I am updating the state value with the help of a function? Anyone? No one? Okay. So guys, here this is not a like a normal function. Okay, this is not a normal function. This function is provided by the React. Okay, and whenever you are changing the value with the help of this function, what React will do? It will save the data inside the memory, and that part, that management part will be taken care by the React. Okay, and this thing also tells React ki, hey, since the state is getting updated, so React, your task is what? Your task is to re-render the component where this state is defined. Okay, so here React is doing two parts. When you are updating the state like this with the help of a function, so this function is telling React ki, hey, you have to save the data inside the memory so that the data should remain safe. First part. The second part is what? The second part, the function is saying ki, hey, please update the component where this state is defined. So this thing will be taken care by the React. So that's why we are doing like this. Okay, that's why we are writing like this, right? So we are done with the part, and yeah. Everyone is clear, right? Why we are writing like this? And similarly, what I will do? Similarly, I can use on change for this amount also, right? On change props, and here I will write amount change handler, okay? And I will create a new state to store the amount, right? And here I have the entered amount, and here I have the set entered amount, right? Okay, and we have the third part, that is this one, entered date also, right? Entered date also, set entered date. And what I can do? Correct, Naveen. Yeah. So we have created what? We have created now multiple state, and all these three states are independent of each other. Okay. So agar if you are making any change in one state, if you are updating one state, it will not reflect the remaining states. Okay, it will not affect the remaining states. Okay, so all the states are independent of each other. So here what I will do, similarly I can create a handler for amount change handler. Okay, that is const amount change handler. And here what I will do, I will use set entered amount. Okay, let's remove this part, right? There is no need to console.log this thing, right? And let's format the document. And after that, what I want for the date also, right? I want for the date also. So date change handler, right? So we have the date change handler, right? So here also what I will do, I will call this set entered date, right? Set entered date here. Sorry, this one, right? Okay. So we are done with the part, right? We are saving the data inside a state, that is entered title, entered amount, and entered date, right, everyone? So yeah. So guys, like we have saved the data, right? We have saved the data. Now what I want, on the button click, on this button click, that is add expense, right? What I want to store the data inside an object, and what I want to print, like I want to console the data, okay, on the console log. So guys, how I can achieve that part? The problem statement is clear, guys. What I want to submit the form. On the submission of form, I want to store the data in an object, and I want to print the data on console. So how I can achieve that part? Anyone? Please write in the chat. Okay, anyone? This could be useful with a search bar. Uh, React will listen to submit click. Sir, there is no code in the assignment question. There is no code in the assignment question. Shivam, like I will check today itself, and I will update the link. Okay, I will update. I will talk to the management. Okay. React will listen. Okay. On submit handler. So guys, here here what we are saying ki, hey, on a button click, and button click is what we are doing, a event of what, clicking on the button, right? Event of what, clicking on the button here. So tell me what I should do. I should use a on click props here and handle the button. Okay, handle the button here, or I should handle the button somewhere else? Anyone? Okay. Santosh, with the help of practical implementation, I'm explaining the theory also, right? So if you have any doubt at any point, please write in the chat. We will try to answer that thing, okay? On change on data input field. Oh, sorry. Like where? Oh, okay. Here, right? Thank you. Here. Okay, what I have to do? I have to write date change handler here, right? Yeah. So now it is good. Yeah. So guys, there are two way to handle the button click. The first thing is what? When you are using a form, and inside the form, when you are using a button, and on the click of the button you want to handle something, either you can use a on click prop in the button, but this is not a good practice. Okay, this is not a good practice. What you can do, okay, you can do this part, okay, there is no harm in this part, but our form, the moment you click on the button inside the form, this form will emit an event. Okay, this form will emit an event, and that event is what, guys? It is, please write in the chat. It is on submit event, right? I am getting one answer, like, yeah. So we have on submit event that will be fired by the form when you are clicking on the button inside the form. Okay, and what I want to handle this event. So what I will do here, I will create a function. Let's create a function here, that is let here, right? Let's create a submit handler function, right? Submit handler function, and this submit handler function will do what? It will receive an event of an object. Okay, and event of object, and what I can do, okay, here, so this one, and after that what I can do, guys, here I can create an object, right? Let's create an object that is const expenses here. Okay, expense data here. Okay, and in the object is what? Key value pair, right? So we have the title key, and in the title key we have the data is what? This enter title, right? So we are saving the data inside the state, that is enter title. So I can use that part. After that we have the comma, and similarly I have the key amount. In the amount, what I want the data of the amount that I have stored inside the entered amount state, right? So here similarly I have the data for entered date also. So let's copy this part, and here I have the key date. Okay, and what I will do here is, like, I will use new date object to get the date, right? And inside this I will pass the date, that is entered date, right? And I am done with the part. Okay, but let's comment this part. Okay, I know, like, I can create an object, and in that object I can store the value, right? So let's comment this part till now, and let's try to see, like, let's try to console.log something, right? Let's try to see console.log inside submit handler. Okay, let's see what will happen inside submit handler. Okay, let's try to print that part. Okay, so here we are getting an error, and that error is this one, right? Let's write submit handler. Let's point to submit handler, right? This we have discussed, right? We are not using a open and close round bracket. Okay, we are not calling a function here, because if I will call the function, the moment this line will get executed, this function will be called automatically. Okay, and I don't want this kind of behavior. I want a behavior when the form is getting submitted, then only I want to call submit handler. To achieve this, just I have to use the name here, using the name I am using here, and that means we are pointing to the function. We are not calling a function submit handler, we are pointing to the function here, right? Let's save the code. Let's see now what output I will get. So guys, you can see here we are getting some random behavior, right? Let's see. The moment I am clicking on the add expense button, the whole page is getting refreshed. Why? Please write in the chat, guys. Let's see. The moment I am clicking on the add expense button, what should happen? It should, like, print something, right? But here the whole page is getting refreshed. See this screen right here. You can see, right? The whole page is getting refreshed. Why? Anyone? Sir, is it expense date or expense data? Okay, let me see that part also. Uh, Expense date. It is expense date. Okay. So I have not used expense date or what? That expense date. Expense date. Here date change handler. So let's see date change handler. Okay, it is correct. Yeah. Prevent default. Okay. Rarely saying ki prevent default in submit handler. So what happened, guys? The moment you click on the button that is inside a form, okay, what will happen? The form will send a request. The form will send a request to the server, okay, that is hosting the web page, okay, that is hosting this thing. That request will be sent to the server, okay. So in order to remove that part, in order to remove this behavior, we have to use prevent default. Okay, we have to use a keyword that is prevent default, and this keyword is present where? Inside a, guys, this keyword is present inside a event. Okay, inside event, with the help of event dot prevent default, we can remove this behavior. Okay, default here, right? So why we are using prevent default here, guys? I can use prevent default method here, right? So this will remove the behavior. If I will not write this, okay, if I will not write this prevent default, what will happen, guys? It will send a, the moment I will click on the button, it will send a request to the server, okay, that is hosting this that is hosting this React application, right? So here our server is what? Development server, right, everyone? So to prevent this behavior, what I have to use? I have to use this event dot prevent default method. Okay, prevent default is a method that is present inside a event object. Till this point, everyone is clear why we are using prevent default? Okay, give me 1 minute. Okay. Yeah. Please write in the chat, guys, if it is clear till this point why we are using prevent default. Okay, like I'm getting Naveen is saying on submit is on the form, which the whole page. Naveen, can you, like, I'm not able to get your question here. So basically we are using on submit on the form, right? Why we are using on submit on the form? Because if I am clicking on the button that is present inside a form, so this form element will emit an event, and that event is what? Submit event, and I can handle that submit event with the help of a prop, and the name of the prop is what? On submit. Okay, and whatever action I have to do, I can achieve that action with the help of this function submit handler, whatever code I have to write. Ravi, it's not render. You are saying, hey, when I'm using prevent default, it is not render. Here, you are not using the correct English statement. What we are doing, we are stopping the page from sending a request to the server. Okay, by using prevent default, we are stopping this form for sending a request to the server. Okay, now everyone is clear? Yes or no? Yeah, to prevent the first event while end. Okay, everyone is clear, right? Yeah, yeah. So here, now what I will do, I will create an object, and inside the object, I will create a key. Key can be anything. Here I'm saying ki, hey, since I have to store title, amount, and date, so I'm writing the key value as title, amount, and date, and the value I have already saved inside the state, that is entered title, entered amount, and entered date, that I have created here. Right, everyone? Do we use API for call? Francisco, we can use an API for calling the server, okay? But for that thing, you have to use some API, that is fetch API, that is provided by the browser. And with the help of that fetch API, you can call the, you can get the request, you can get data from the server, or you can post something to the server, okay? So that part we are not discussing right now. Correct. Virendra is correct. This is the behavior of the form. Okay, that is sending a request to the server on button click is the behavior of the form, and we are preventing that behavior. Okay, that is a correct definition that I'm getting from the Virendra, right? Yeah. Thank you, Virendra. Yeah. So shall we move, guys? Everyone is clear, right? Anyone has any doubt till this point? Please write in the chat. Or should we move? Okay. So here, what I have done, I have created a expense data object and I have stored the value. Let's try to print the value on the console.log. Okay. Let's see console.log. And here, what I will do, I will print the data here. Oh, sorry. Here you are seeing enter data, expense data. This will be expense data. Okay. Expense data here, expense data, right? So let's see, let's try to write the name also, that is expense data, right? And here, so let's try to save the code, right? Let's try to see whether we are getting some output or not, right, on the console. So here let's try to write something, that is let's try to remove this console.log from here, right, from the title change handle. Let's try to comment this part, right? So here, and now let's try to enter something. Let's say title is I want a home, and the amount is $1234.56. Okay, and the date is what? Let's assume the date is December, this one, right? And let's click on the add expense. So here it is saying here, please enter a valid okay. Here let's see 01, right? Yeah. So the moment I'm clicking on the add expense, what will happen? What will happen, guys? The moment I will click on the add expense button, so what will happen? The form will emit an event, that is submit event, and we are handling that event in the function submit handler. So this submit handler function will get called, and in the submit handler function at line number 23, we are preventing the default behavior of the form. The default behavior is what? We are preventing the form to request uh, on the server side. We are preventing that part, and after that we are saying ki, hey, we are storing the data inside the expense data object, and we are printing the data on the output screen, right everyone? So first task is completed, right? Okay, Utpal, like if we have time I will try to include that part. Okay, but till this point everyone is clear, yes or no? How to write a form in React, how to handle the data of a form in React, and like how to submit the data and how to like store the data somewhere. That part is clear, yes or no? So guys, the next question here is, the next task is what? See what we are doing. If you can see my screen here, we have this data, that is we have this expense data inside a expense form, right everyone? We have this expense data inside the expense form, and what we are trying to achieve with the help of this form, the moment I should enter data and the moment I should hit on the add expense, I want to I want to display the data inside this box. Okay, I want to display the data inside this box, right everyone? So this is my whole aim. So here I have the data here, right? So let me share this part, right? 1 minute. So till this point we have what? We have a app, right? 1 minute. We have a app component. Okay, and inside the app component we have, let's see, we have what? Inside the app component we have two child component, that is new expenses and the expenses one, right? So inside the app component we have new expenses component, okay, and we have the expenses component here, right? And after that, inside this new expenses, inside this expenses, what we are having? We are having this expense item, right everyone? inside this expenses we are having what? We are having expense item here, right? Expense item, expense item, and expense item, right everyone? And inside the new expenses, what we are having? Inside the new expenses, we are having the expense form, okay? And inside the expense form, yeah, we are having the form. And inside this expense form, what we are doing? We are handling the form data and we are storing the data inside an expense data object. So our data is here. Our actual the data of the form is here inside the expense form. And if you will see this part, the dummy array, okay, if you will see here in the web browser, this data that we are printing, this is a dummy data, right? And this dummy data is where, if I will open the project here, you can see the dummy data is inside the app, okay, app component. So here we have the dummy data here, okay. And what we are doing with the help of props, we are passing the dummy data to this part, right, to the expenses with the help of props, right? With the help of props we are passing the data here, and here we are managing the data, and that management we are taking care by useState hook, okay. The state management is taken care by the useState hook, and the data from parent component to the child component is taken care by the props, right everyone? And after that we have the expense data. In order to print the data, what I want to include this expense data inside this dummy data array, right everyone? I want to include this expense data inside the dummy data array. So till now we know कि hey, if I have to pass a data from parent to its just child, I can do that thing with the help of props, right everyone? I can do that thing with the help of props. So now in order to move this data to app, how I can achieve this part? That is, I have to move expense data here. Can you guys write in the chat how I can achieve that thing? Please write in the chat. Those who know about React, please write in the chat. Till this point, everything is clear, right? What we are trying to achieve here? Please write in the chat. Or should I explain this part again? So Ramjeet is saying use context. Yes, sir, can get your Bhalke. It is like Premnath. Like uh, I have shared a link in the description. From there, you can download the zip file. Okay, from there you can get the project. And Ranjit, why you are saying use context? Okay. Anyone else apart from Ranjit? No one. So guys, what happens since Ranjit is correct here? Like we can use context. Okay. So here we have two concepts. That is, one is use context, and we have a redux also. Okay, we have a redux also. So with the help of this we can achieve that thing. Okay, but here since our project is very small, and here you can see I have a parent component, and for this parent component I have a child component. Okay, so the nesting is very less. Okay, the nesting is very less here, right? So there is no need of using use context, or there is no need of using redux. Okay, we can achieve that part, but that will make our code very complex. If you are in the interview, you should go with this approach that I will tell you right now. Okay, so what will happen? The interviewer will ask you ki, hey, you should not use any use context, and you should not use any redux library. Okay, so here the thing is what we will do here first. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay, here, right? Okay, yeah. So what I will do, I have one more concept, that is to pass data from child to parent component, right? Pass data from child to parent component. Okay, child to just adjacent parent component. Okay, adjacent parent component. Let's see how I can achieve that thing. Okay, how I can achieve that thing here in our code. Okay, so here we are having this expense form. Okay, so the just so the parent of expense form is what? It is new expense, right everyone? New expense. So we will use props only, and with the help of props we will try to send the data from child to parent component. Let's see how. So what I will do here, I will first create a function, right? Let's create a function here, right? So the function is const. Okay, here what I will do, save. So this time, since what we are doing till now, we are passing data. Okay, we are passing data from parent to child component. Now what I will do, I will pass function. I will pass function from parent to child component. Okay, like this. 1 minute. Yeah. So we have the parent component here. That is expenses here. That is new expenses here. Inside this new expenses, we have what? We have expense form, right? So what I will do now, I will pass props, and this time the value of props will be a function. Okay, and this function will accept an argument. Okay, and what I will do here, in the expense form I will pass this for prop. Okay, and the moment I am having the data, that is here inside expense data, here we are having this data, we will pass this data inside a function, that is props dot function, and as an argument we can pass the data here, expense data. So the moment you will do this part, what will happen, this data will get stored inside this argument, and this argument is present inside new expenses. Everyone is clear? Yes or no? Please write in the chat if it is clear. Sir, we can create a state in parent, correct, and create a function which take a parent here, and using a correct. Tony is correct here. Should I repeat this part again, or everyone is clear till this point? Everyone is clear, right? So let's implement that part, right? Anyone has any doubt? Okay. So what I will do here, I have a, let's create a props here, right? Let's first create a props here. Let's write the name of the process. Process on save expense data here, right? On save expense data here. And what I will do, I will handle this data in a function, right? And in order to handle the data in a function, I have to point to the function. Let's write the name of the function here, right? Save expense data handler, right? Let's write this name handler. So let's define this function here, that is const this one arrow function, and here we have this part, right? And what I will do here is like, here I have an argument. Okay, basically in order to get the data we have to pass an argument. This is a very important point. Okay, so basically we have entered expense data here, right? And what I will do, I will console.log the data, right? Let's console.log, and here inside new expenses, right? Inside parent new expenses, right? So here what I will do, I will print the data, that is entered expense data, right? After doing this stuff, what I will do, I will go inside the child component, that is expense form, and here where we are saving the data here inside the submit handler. We are saving the data inside the object, right? So here with the help of props, that is props, yeah, so here we will pass a props, okay, to the component. I will pass a props, and this props is having a function. And how I can get this function? With the help of this name, right? That is the name I can get from here. That is this name, okay? Props name is what? This one, right? So let's copy this name here, and from here props dot this on save expense date. And here what I will do, I will pass the data, that is expense data here, right? And now I am done with the code. Let's see. So let's comment this line, that is line number 31. Let's save the data, and here you can see what I am doing inside the new expenses. Here you can see I am saving the data. How I am saving the data? Inside a parameter, inside an argument, and here I'm printing that argument, right? Let's save the code and let's see what output now I will get. Yeah. So here, let's clear the screen, right? So here I am having home, I am having some amount, and I am having the data, right? Let's add expenses here. Let's click on the add expense here. So the moment I'm clicking on the add expense, you can see now I am getting the data, but this time I am getting the data where? Inside parent new expense. I am getting the data inside the parent component, right? I am getting the data, that is title, home, and amount in the parent new expenses, right? Right, everyone? And how I am able to achieve this part? By passing function as a prop. Okay, I am passing a function as a prop, and in a function I am accepting a argument, right, everyone? And in the child component, after getting the data, I am calling the function with the help of props dot function name, and inside the parameter I am passing that data. So the moment you will pass this expense data here, what will happen? It will get stored. It will get stored. That is, the moment you will call this function, this data will get passed, okay, and it will get stored inside this entered expense data argument, and we are printing that data here. That is on the new expense component, right, everyone? Please write in the chat if it is clear till this point. Sir, please increase your code size, okay? uh Here, right? Now everyone is getting the, yeah. So the concept is clear, guys, how to pass data from parent to child and how to pass data from child to parent. And this is a very important concept. Like yesterday I am giving one interview, okay, and there they have asked these questions. That's why I'm including this thing inside this here, right? Inside our project, okay? Because they will, no one will ask you ki, hey, how to pass data from parent to child, okay? This is a very common question. Like the most of the time they will ask question ki, hey, how to pass data from child to parent. So you can see ki in the parent component I can define a function, and that function I can pass as a props, and inside the child component I can call the prop function, and in that function I can pass the data, right, everyone? Like this. So now what we are doing here, let's open this part right here. So now what we are doing, like we have this expense data, and we are able to pass this data from expense to new expense. From expense form, I am able to get the data here, right? So now what I want to get the data from new expense to the app, right, everyone? I want to get the data from new expense to the app, and again I will do the same thing, right, everyone? Again I will do the same thing. So what I will do here, this time I will go inside the app.js file, and in the app.js file I will pass a prop. Okay, let's write the name of the prop, that is on add expense here, okay, and here I will point to a function. Let's write the name of the function, that is add expense handler, okay. And here what I will do, I will create a function here, that is const add expense handler. And since we are we are creating this function to handle the data from child to parent, I have to pass an argument. This is a very important step. Okay, you have to pass an argument here. So let's write the name of the argument, that is expenses here. Okay, expense here. And what I will do now, here I will print the data, right? Console dot log inside app, right? Inside app. And what I will do, I will print the data here, right? So first step is done. I have created a function and I have passed the function with the help of props to the child component. So let's move to the child component now. In the child component, what I will do here, I will receive a props. How I can receive the props? Since I'm using a functional component, so first I have to write an argument inside the function, that is props, right? And here, okay, since we are getting the entered expense data here, so what I will do here itself, I will write props dot, and what is the name of the function that we are writing inside the here, right? So we are writing this function. Okay, so the name of the props is this one, that is on add expenses, right? So let's copy this one, right? Let's copy this line here, and after that let's move here, right? So what I will do, props dot this on add expense, and what I will do here, I will pass this data, that is this one, right? This one. So we are done with the code. Let's see what output now I will get, right? So again, let's clear the screen and let's hit on the enter button. Again, the data is already there, right? So guys, one thing you should like, you can notice here, the moment I'm submitting the button, we are like not removing the data. The data is still here, right? The data is still here. So let's save the data here, right? Let's see. So here guys, you can see we are getting the same object in the inside parent new expense, and we are able to pass the data from new expense to the app component, right? So we are able to achieve that part. So now what we have done till now, we are able to get the data from expense form to new expense, and now I'm able to get the data from new expense to app. Please write in the chat if it is clear till this point, right? If it is clear till this point. Yeah, if it is clear guys, the next question is, if you will see one thing, the moment I'm clicking on the add expenses, the moment I'm clicking on the button here, the data is getting like printed on the console, right? But here we are not able to clear the data. Here we are not able to clear the data, right? And this part, in order to clear the data, how I can, tell me again sir, Ravi, like what you are not able to understand, this child to prop, like this child to parent data transfer, you're not able to understand, or something else? Please write in the chat, Ravi. Okay. Tell me again, sir. Yes. Okay. So Ravi, this you understood this part, like why we are passing the data from child to parent. What is the need? Because the dummy data is here, right? The dummy data is here, and since I want to show the expense item on the card, I have to add this form data to the dummy data. And in order to add this form data to the dummy data, what I have to do, I have to pass this data from expense form to app. So first step is what? I have to pass expense the data from expense form to its just parent, and the just parent is what? Next expense. And how I can achieve that part? With the help of props, by passing function, right? By passing function, I can achieve that part. Here you can see again I'm explaining the same thing. Let me, okay, here, right? So here you can see we are having the data, that is here. So we are having the data and this data, right? So in order to pass this data from new from expense form to new expense, what I'm doing in the parent component, I am creating a function. In that function, I am creating an argument that will hold the data from child to parent, okay? And I am passing this function as a props, right? I am passing this function as a props, right? So now I will go inside the child component. Inside the child component, if you will see this data, I have this data, that is line number 25 data. Now I want to pass this data from child to parent. So what I will do, with the help of this props.onSaveExpense with the help of this function, I am calling this function, okay, with the help of props, and I am passing the data. So the moment you will call this function, and this function is declared where? Inside the parent component. So the moment you will call this function and you will pass this data, what will happen, guys? It will go to the parent component, and in the parent component, this function will get called. And here the data you are passing from the child, it will get stored here, and you are printing the data here. Now Ravi, it is clear? Yes or no? Now it is clear, Ravi? Okay, I'm assuming it is clear, right? If it is not clear, again revisit the part, okay? And if you have any doubt in the tomorrow session, okay, in the starting, please write in the chat. I will explain that part again, right? So now the next thing that are left is what I have to, like, the moment I'm submitting on the add expense button, okay, the moment I'm submitting the form, what I want to clear the field. I want to clear the field. Here you can see, the moment I will submit, I will hit on the add expense button, I am able to get the data, but here the form is not getting cleared, right? This thing is called two-way binding, okay? That is here. Let me implement that part, right? So inside expense form, here you can see. So two-way binding is what? With the help of with the help of onChange prop, right? We are handling the event. With the help of onChange prop, we are handling the event. Now what I want, on the button submit, I want to clear the data. How I can achieve that part? Here I can use an attribute, that is value, okay? And inside value, what I can pass here, I can pass the data I am storing here, right? That is this state value, right? So here I can write value is equal to entered title, and similarly here also I can write value is equal to 1 minute, entered amount, and similarly here value is equal to entered date, right? Yeah, so yeah, so now let's see the definition first, right? So here, two-way binding, right? Two-way binding in React.js, right? So according to the definition, it is saying here, let's see some simple definition here. So here you can see, guys, this part, right? In the here, data binding is, in simple word, is a process of binding or connecting the UI element with the data that is used to populate the UI, right, everyone? Or here also, data binding is a process of connecting the view element, that is the UI, with the data which populates it, right? With the data which populates it. So here, if you will see, the moment I am like hitting, like I'm writing something here, the data I'm storing inside the state, and now what I want to alter the, I want to change the UI, I want to remove the data from the UI. How I can achieve this part? I can bind the data. How I can bind the data? With the help of value attribute. So here I'm using value attribute, entered amount, value attribute, entered amount, and here, right? So now when I'm submitting the form, the data will get saved inside the expense data object, right, everyone? And after that, what I will do, I will reset the state value, right? I will reset the state value, that is I will update set title, okay, set title here, set entered amount here, and I will say ki here, now the entered amount is what? Empty, because I have submitted the form and there is no need to store the data in the text field, okay? There is no need to store the data in the text field. So similarly here also enter date, and here, right? Let's reset the data, set entered title, right? And let's reset the data here also. So after submitting the form, I don't want to I don't want the data on the tag input field. So what I'm doing here, I'm doing two-way binding, and after clicking on the form, submit event will get fired, and this submit handler will get called, and inside the submit handler, after doing all the operation, at last I am updating the state value. That is, I am setting the state value to empty string, right? Let's save the code. Let's see now. So here, the moment I'm getting some error, right? So yeah, so you can see the moment I have clicked on the add expenses here, all the data is removed from here, right? So if I will write this, and the amount is 12.01, and here the date is this one, that is this one. Okay, the moment I will click on the add expense button, you can see guys, it is getting cleared, right? So we are able to achieve two-way binding, and two-way binding is what, guys? It is the process of connecting the view element or user interface with the data which populates it, right? So we can achieve that part with the help of attribute. The name of the attribute is what? Value. And in that value, what we have to pass? We have to pass the state that is holding that data. Okay, we have to pass the state that is holding that data. And here also you can see with the data which populates it. Okay, the data which save it, right? So this is the concept of two-way binding, right? So this is all for today's session, guys. Okay, so now what we are left? We are left with we are able to get the data at the app level. Okay, we are able to get the data at the app level. Now in the tomorrow session, we will see how to add the data, that how to add the data, the form data, to the dummy data table, and how to render that part on the UI. And after that, we will see the concept of virtual DOM. Okay, and again we will see like how the React, like what happened behind the scene in React. Okay, what happened behind the scene in React. So guys, this is all for today's session. Hope you have enjoyed the today's session. Okay, and if you have any doubt, please write in the chat. Till that time, related to the attendance, guys, after the here, you can go to the attendance link, right? And from here, what you can do, sign it with Google here, and right. So this one, click on the mark attendance button. From here, if you're liking the session, give the rating. If you are interested in our 6-month Let's Upgrade program, that is our data science program and our full stack program, right? That is going right now. And there we are having the discussion of, there we are discussing about the front end part, that is in React.js, and the backend part in Node.js. We are using the MongoDB and SQL database according to the project requirement. And we are connecting all the three things, that is the database with the Node.js, and with the Node.js with the front end part, right? So this thing we are discussing in the full stack web development program. And in the data science program, we are learning about machine learning. We are taking we are doing a lot of prediction there, and we are seeing hey, how we can get the accurate prediction. Okay, we are filtering the data, we are taking the useful information from the data, we are using Tableau and other tools to analyze the data. So these all things we are discussing in the data science program. And if you are interested in that program, what you can do here, right, at last you can get this tooling, right? From here you can, right, from here you can go to the link, and from here you can download the syllabus, right? So this is all for today's session, guys. And according related to the assignment, what I can do, I can ask to the management to add that app.js file, the product.js file, and the index.cs file, right? So thank you everyone. So thank you everyone for joining the session, right?